Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, where we bring you the latest and most intense updates about Sheikh Hamdan and his family. If you are new here and haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe now and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss any important update. In my last video, I used to think no one was perfect, but then I met you. I woke up smiling again this morning, and I'm blaming it on you. Now let's move on to your topic. Sheikh Hamdan is very crying today because Sheikh Hamdan was very crying today because the palace felt heavier than it ever had before. The golden halls that once echoed with laughter now carried only the quiet footsteps of guards and the distant hum of fountains that no longer soothed his restless heart. The sky outside his window was pale and distant, as if even the sun hesitated to touch the sorrow that surrounded him. He stood alone near the tall glass balcony, his hands resting on the cold marble railing, his eyes searching the horizon for something he already knew would not return. Tears were not strangers to pain, but they were strangers to him, a man trained to lead, to carry dignity like a crown upon his soul, had learned to hide emotions behind discipline and silence. Yet today, the weight of memories was stronger than every rule he had ever obeyed. His breath trembled as the past unfolded inside his mind like a storm he could no longer control. He remembered her voice the most, soft, steady, filled with warmth that made the world feel human instead of royal. She had spoken to him not as a prince, not as a symbol of power, but as a man who needed understanding. In her presence, titles disappeared, walls collapsed, and his heart learned how to rest. She had brought light into spaces that power could never illuminate. She had seen the part of him that no crown could protect. The last conversation replayed endlessly in his thoughts, words that were never meant to become final, a silence that stretched longer than it should have, a goodbye that neither of them believed would truly be the last. Fate, however, had its own cruel handwriting, and it wrote separation where love had planned eternity. His fingers tightened as a tear escaped his eyes and fell against the marble floor, disappearing instantly, yet leaving a deeper mark inside his chest. He did not cry for weakness. He cried for love that had no place to return to. He cried for mornings that would no longer begin with her messages, for evenings that would no longer carry her laughter, for dreams that would now remain unfinished chapters in his heart. Every corner of the palace reminded him of her presence. The garden bench where they once spoke under moonlight, the hallway where their footsteps walked side by side in silence, the window where she once stood watching the city lights with wonder in her eyes. Even the air felt different without her, thinner, colder, less alive. He tried to remain strong in front of the world, the cameras, the people, the responsibilities demanded composure. But behind closed doors, the prince became simply a man who had loved deeply and lost painfully. His tears were quiet, dignified, heavy with unspoken prayers. Each tear carried a memory, a promise, a moment that could never be repeated. He questioned destiny silently. Why allow hearts to meet if they were meant to separate so cruelly? Why teach love so beautifully if it would be taken so suddenly? Yet somewhere within the ache, gratitude existed. Gratitude for having known a love so pure that even loss could not erase its beauty. As the call to prayer echoed across the city, his breathing slowly steadied. He closed his eyes and whispered a prayer not for himself, but for her peace, wherever she now belonged. Love, he realized, does not end with absence. It transforms into memory, into silent loyalty, into a permanent place within the soul. Sheikh Hamdan wiped his tears gently, not to hide them, but to honor the strength they represented. He stood taller, not because the pain vanished, but because love had taught him resilience. His heart would carry her forever, not as sorrow alone, but as a reminder that even a prince is human before he is royal. The tears did not stop immediately. They slowed, like a storm turning into gentle rain. But the ache remained wrapped around his heart like a quiet shadow. Sheikh Hamdan remained by the balcony long after the city had awakened below him. Cars moved like silent rivers of light. People hurried toward their destinies. Life continued with stubborn determination, unaware that a prince above them was learning how to breathe again after heartbreak. He allowed himself to sit on the cool stone bench near the open doors, resting his head briefly against the carved wall. In that stillness, memories returned not as pain alone, but as warmth. He remembered the way she laughed when she tried to hide her shyness, the way her eyes sparkled when she spoke about simple dreams. Promises breathe life. Dreams find home. Lonely nights end. Morning brings joy. Every heartbeat sings. Every tear sparkles. Stories come alive. Legends feel real. Poems find voice. Silence turns song. Wind carries prayers. Sky carries secrets. Earth feels light. Souls feel calm. Love stands strong. Faith stands taller. Time stands still. History takes note. Future smiles bright. Crowns bow gently. Power meets mercy. Strength meets kindness. Eyes meet eyes. World holds breath. Soft vows spoken. Hearts answer yes. Souls recognize home. Paths become one. Storms lose power. Shadows run away. Light wins gently. Fear melts slowly. Peace grows quietly. Joy walks boldly. City beats louder. Drums of hearts. Chants of hope. Whispers of love. Tears of thanks. Smiles of pride. Hands lifted high. Prayers touch sky. Angels lean close. Stars blink softly. Night waits patient. Day shines proud. Every clock pauses. Every bell silent. Only heart speaking. Only love ruling. Stories will travel. Across wide seas. Across tall mountains. Across warm homes. Across quiet rooms. People will say, this was magic. This was destiny. This was love. Children will dream. Young hearts hope. Old souls smile. Because love won. Because faith stayed. Because patience paid. Because truth shone. Royal yet humble. Strong yet gentle. Bright yet calm. Fazza walks forward. Bride walks beside. Two souls shining. Two paths merging. Two hearts beating. One future written. One promise sealed. One story born. Crowds fade slowly. Music softens now. Petals rest ground. Moon rises high. Stars clap quietly. Night wraps city. Dreams float softly. Homes light lamps. Families hug tight. Screens show smiles. Phones carry joy. Messages of prayer. Voices of blessing. Hearts feel close. Though miles apart, though seas between, love still connects. Because love travels. Because love listens. Because love waits. And today answers. Tomorrow begins now. Hope walks forward. Faith walks stronger. Love walks endless. Story keeps growing. Pages still turning. Time keeps moving. But memory stays. Golden in hearts. Soft in souls. Warm in prayers. Forever in love. Of course, English Fazza poem. Only story. 3 words. Each line. No repeat lines. Morning finds courage. Desert holds promise. Winds carry prayers. Footsteps choose kindness. Eyes seek truth. Hands offer peace. Hearts stay humble. Dreams grow brighter. Faith walks ahead. Hope never sleeps. Time bends gently. Storms lose power. Shadows fall back. Light moves forward. Paths stay open. Voices speak calm. Silence feels safe. Tears turn wisdom. Pain grows wings. Fear learns leaving. Brave stays standing. Trust builds bridges. Souls feel steady. Promises stay strong. Love learns patience. Kindness leads first. Honor guards choices. Truth shapes destiny. Mercy wins battles. Grace crowns effort. Steps stay grounded. Stars guide nights. Sun heals mornings. Rain clears doubt. Roots hold firm. Branches reach higher. Hearts choose giving. Hands keep lifting. Smiles heal silence. Words plant courage. Breath finds rhythm. Peace writes future. Joy trains waiting. Calm defeats anger. Soft beats strong. Gentle wins wars. Loyalty stays loyal. Respect walks beside. Dreams learn discipline. Focus builds kings. Service builds legends. Legends stay human. Crowns stay light. Power stays kind. Victory bows first. Loss teaches depth. Depth brings wisdom. Wisdom brings calm. Calm shapes leaders. Leaders protect weak. Strong guard. Soft. Hope feeds courage. Courage feeds truth. Truth feeds freedom. Freedom feeds peace. Peace feeds love. Love feeds world. World learns healing. Healing grows unity. Unity builds tomorrow. Tomorrow needs faith. You listen deeply. I trusted slowly. You stayed patient. I grew stronger. You held steady. I leaned closer. Storms came early. Life felt heavy. World felt cruel. But you stayed, holding my hand, refusing to leave. When I fell, you lifted me. When I doubted, you believed more. When I feared, you stood firm. I learned courage. From your smile, I learned peace. From your voice, I learned love. From your actions, days became brighter. Nights felt softer. Dreams felt closer. Pain felt smaller. Heart felt fuller. Life felt kinder. But life tested our fragile joy, whispers of doubt, distance between us, silent misunderstandings, heavy unsaid words. I grew quiet. You grew worried. Walls grew taller. Love grew patient. Hope grew tired, but never left. One dark evening, rain was falling. Streets were empty. Hearts were loud. Eyes were wet. Hands were shaking. I said sorry. You said always. Tears fell freely. Arms wrapped tight. Fear slowly faded. Love stayed strong. We chose again. Not perfection, but commitment. Not easy roads, but honest steps. Not forever promises, but today effort. We built slowly, brick by brick, trust by trust, smile by smile, dream by dream, heart by heart. Your happiness became my goal. Your pain became my fight. Your dreams became my mission. I stopped asking what love gives. I started asking what I give, because loving you changed my meaning, not just feelings, but daily choices, not just words, but constant effort, not just staying, but growing together. When world shakes, I hold you. When storms rise, I shield you. When doubts speak, I silence them. Because you matter. Because you tried. Because you stayed. When leaving easier. When silence safer. When giving up simple, you chose me again and again. So I choose you again and again. In calm days, in broken nights, I used to think anything was love enough, but love taught anything is easy, everything is brave, everything is patience, everything is forgiveness, everything is showing up, even when tired, even when scared, even when unsure. So for you, I give everything, not perfect love, but loyal love, not flawless heart, but faithful heart. And if someday time grows heavy, and steps grow slow, and voices grow quiet, and hands grow tired, still I stay. Still I choose. Still I try. Still I fight. Still I love. Still I believe. Still I remain. Because love changed when I met you. Because meaning changed when you stayed. Because life changed when hearts met. So now I know anything was easy. Everything is love. And for you, I give everything, without counting cost. Morning felt empty until you smiled. Sun felt warm